Marsh Marigold, nature's first responder by peace love sunshine. In the cool, damp corners of northern forests, where snowmelt still clings to the edges of shadowy banks and the air smells of moss and thawing earth, a burst of golden light appears. It isn't the sun, it's the Marsh Marigold, blooming boldly beside icy waters, long before most of spring's wildflowers even think to stir. To a casual passerby, this little yellow flower might seem like a seasonal decoration, a cheerful dot in the mud. But look closer, and you'll see something far more powerful, a quiet architect of resilience. Though delicate in appearance, the Marsh Marigold is a keystone species in northern wetland ecosystems, nurturing life, purifying water, and holding fragile systems together as they shift between seasons. Marsh marigolds bloom early, so early that their brilliant yellow flowers often poke through melting snowbanks. At this moment, they offer one of the first vital meals of the year for emerging pollinators. Solitary bees, such as Enrina species, are among the earliest to rise. They don't live in hives or hoard food like honeybees do. These native bees are on a tight spring schedule, needing pollen immediately to lay eggs and provision their young. Without early flowers like Marsh Marigold, many of them simply wouldn't survive. Hoverflies also take to the wing at this time, drawn to the nectar-rich cups of gold. While the adults sip from flowers, their larvae feast on aphids, playing an unsung role in pest control. Beetles, some of the oldest pollinators on Earth, bumble among the open blossoms. Even early emerging butterflies, like morning cloaks that have overwintered beneath tree bark, rely on this flash of yellow to replenish themselves. These insect visitors do more than just feed. As they travel between blooms, they carry pollen with them, ensuring that the marsh marigolds can set seed and spread. But perhaps more importantly, these same insects will soon move on to pollinate other spring wildflowers, shrubs, and trees, making Marsh Marigold a launching pad for an entire season of flowering life. Beyond feeding insects, Marsh marigolds help sustain the wetland itself. Their roots, though modest, bind together the mucky soils of marshes and streambanks, reducing erosion and trapping sediment. When stormwater rushes into a wetland carrying soil, nutrients, and pollutants, the dense root zones of plants like Marsh Marigold help slow it down, allowing gravity, microbes, and time to do their work. In this way, Marsh Marigold plays a role in filtering out excess nitrogen and phosphorus, which often enter water from fertilizers or septic runoff. Left unchecked, these nutrients fuel harmful algal blooms downstream. But in wetlands where marsh marigolds thrive, those nutrients are captured and cycled more gently through the ecosystem. The plant also helps build the soggy, oxygen-poor soils that define wetlands, soils that are rich in microbial life. While marsh marigold isn't a heavy metal accumulator like cattails, it supports the microbial web that helps break down pollutants, neutralize toxins, and create habitat for everything from frogs to fireflies. It may not look like a climate hero, but marsh marigold is part of a vast and underappreciated carbon sink. Wetlands, swamps, bogs, and marshes store more carbon per acre than almost any other ecosystem on Earth, thanks to their slow decomposition in waterlogged soils. Every leaf and root that marsh marigold contributes to that soggy earth becomes part of a long-term carbon bank. As climate change accelerates, preserving wetlands and their plant communities is one of the most effective natural strategies we have. Marsh marigolds help maintain the health of these systems, not just by building soil and retaining water, but by signaling the season and rallying life into action. Their resilience helps stabilize ecosystems that are becoming increasingly vulnerable to shifting temperatures and disrupted seasonal cycles. Marsh marigolds are not showy in the way of cultivated tulips or towering prairie blooms. They hug the ground. They rise early. They speak in yellow when the rest of the world is still gray. But that humility is their strength. They don't just survive the edge of winter, they transform it into spring. Their early blossoms are not only a gift to bees, but to the birds that feed on those bees, to the amphibians that breed in the temporary pools they shelter, and to the forests and fields that depend on pollination to flourish. They are also a gift to us, a reminder that even the smallest actors can create the conditions for abundance. In their golden petals, we see a lesson. Timing, connection, and service to the whole are as vital in nature as in any community. So the next time you find yourself wandering a wet and waking woodland in early spring, stop and kneel beside that modest, glowing flower. Know that you're in the presence of a quiet guardian, one that holds the balance of an entire season in its roots and bloom. Thank you for watching. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't yet.